So for this final question, how do you feel like, because in our class and even in the book, there wasn't a lot about, like, let's say the male hair, about hair in general. What would you say makes hair like such a focal, like, do you think it should have its own chapter? How do you feel like hair should be implemented in learning about the sociology of how bodies, the physical body?
Uh, how should hair be used?
Like what, like the whole
Okay, so
barber, hairdressers, like before, like we could have went in more about, like,
Well,
let's say
first
the presentation of this.
well, first of all, I'll mention that in when you see them in textbooks, period, they usually tend to focus on females, and I think it's more or less because they can't understand the male aspect of it. But if males, hair to males isn't as important as it is to females, it's more important, like, when it comes to that sense. And it's hard to conceptualize. It's hard to, yeah, it's basically hard to conceptualize. So I don't know how you can forget it when you're talking about body, and it's the easiest way to prove how important certain things are to humans and people, how important certain things that they have ownership of are important to them. Like, I look at guys, people with receding hairlines. Like, if I could tell you how many times, like, I've dealt with people that are just, and even people whose hairs are receding, and they keep just mentioning, oh, I want to shave my head, but I'm gonna shave my head next week. I'm gonna shave my head next week, and just continue coming back and keep getting the same type of haircuts, and just every time in the mirror, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Like, for textbooks to leave it out, it's the author's discretion, but I think it would be an easy way to prove a lot of these theories that the textbooks are pushing on, and just from a theoretical standpoint, there's a lot of these theories that hair can back up, and especially when it comes to body. Because before you have muscles, before you have whatever you have, you're born with your hair, or you're born with your hair growing in, and once you can understand what you look like in the mirror, your hair is there at that point. So if your hair is not there, then you're used to not having your hair, or if your hair is there, you're used to having your hair, and then you go through that process of finding out what haircut or what style suits you. So, yeah, as I said, it's to the author's discretion, but it's it would prove a lot of these theories that I would definitely say students don't understand. And it's an easier way to make a difficult concept easier for everybody to understand.
So you think
everybody has hair, you know?
Yeah. So you would think just because the notion everyone has hair that it will make it applicable to, like, the consumer body, the racial body, the civilized gender.
It's a part of consumption, though. Because you're paying for a haircut, and you're paying for a haircut from a specific place, specific person, and you're waiting for that specific time to get into that chair with that person. So you said would you say applicable to what?
To, like, that the consumer body, the civilized, the gender, the racial.
Well, if you look at parents, for example. Like, I just dealt with a client, and he was just making a joke, but he's like, his mom was telling him to get civilized, get a haircut. So it's a way of just cleaning up your act, basically, or not cleaning up your act, but per se, but cleaning up, looking good. I don't know. I like it. I cut my own hair, so when I have important events to go to, or just to me now, every day is is an opportunity to meet somebody new, build a networking relationship, an opportunity to build. I gotta make sure I've taught myself to maintain well-groomed, and I would tell anybody who's looking to meet people, perception is very important, and if you could just maintain a good-looking, well-groomed body or head, then it's consistent with what people see, and they'll learn to trust you.
So you're basically saying that a good haircut, like, of course I'm gonna over exaggerate,
Mhm.
but you believe that a good haircut will be important for, let's say, to move up the ladder, right?
That's not even over exaggerating, though. That's not over exaggerating at all. You have to wear a suit and tie to you fake it till you make it, almost, and that's how we are as humans. Like, if you want to be something, you got to put on that act as if you're that goal. So if you want to be a businessman, if you want to be an athlete, you got to wear the LeBrons, you got to wear the Jordans, you got to have the right haircut.
Talking about those figures you just mentioned, there's something called Harmonic masculinity, which talks about that in sports we want the macho dudes, but even though there's a lot of macho dudes, there's dudes like Dennis Rodman who, with the colorful hair, made a lot of noise, or how people used to like note that Michael Jordan was bald, or even LeBron after winning 2 championship rings. Whenever someone wants to be negative, they no longer claim that he's no longer a man for leaving Cleveland, or that he's no longer a child because he doesn't have wings, because he seems like a leader, but they always refer to his receding hairline. Do you feel in a way that even though like we have fundamental aspects of what makes us man as society will put it, do you feel like with these instances that as the hair is always seems to be a factor that could demote a guy, do you think that is pretty correlate?
Well, people always in this world, people always try to bring you down when you're at the top. So there's always things impeding your success, and you can't expect to make it anywhere if you don't expect to go through any tribulations. So yeah, without a doubt, like if you can't bring somebody down based on the numbers they're putting up or the work they're putting in and the results they're getting from it, you're gonna find other things, and it shows you how important hairlines are. And LeBron James, for an example, why hasn't he shaved his head if his hairline's so far back? Why does he work so hard to maintain that color in his hair and just everything well groomed?
Do you think it's part of the social mass we were talking earlier
Social
about?
mass, but it's consistent with what he's been his whole life, and from the greatness that he puts on the basketball court, that reflects back to the work he's put in the gym, which also is associated in some way, form or fashion, his hair and how he's maintained it. So it's not a secret, and you could look around. It's not a secret. Like, it's an opportunity for people to differentiate, as I said, be unique. And I can understand why it might not fit in a textbook because it's so hard to conceptualize. But in terms of examples for theories, there's definitely space for it. Definitely, without a doubt. You straight?
Yeah. Any last words you want to say? Or?
Daps. Holla at me. Yeah, get the stuff in the textbook though. And a lot of people will be able to what is it? What's the
Do you
word?
think that like it will respect barbers and hairdressers? Because
One
according
thing
to the
one thing
media,
it might do is, I've noticed within some textbooks is they're geared very like towards females, and just with regards to everything, like whatever they're doing. So I think that in a sense it might help males engage more, and you could see there's something within the system that's preventing males from getting through school, as we're all humans. So the only thing that differentiates us is the roles that society puts on us, and I think there's curriculum and there's stuff in the textbook that's obviously making males work less efficient than females within the school
So
system.
do you think? So are you trying to say that? Do you think that if like we dealt with, let's say, more male hair, are you trying to say that we might see a potential more emotional responses?
Yeah, you'll see a more remote, like if there's stuff males can relate to within the textbooks, for example, like a male haircut and that experience, that's something you could associate with. But you can associate with certain things, and most of the examples that you'll catch are women related, female related.
Or in this time, sports with guys. Or
Yeah. And it'll be to that general extent, but not every guy plays sports. You know what I mean? Everybody has hair, and everybody does something with their hair. So whether you're bald or you're not bald, you have that image, and it's an important
and you would,
aspect of your
and
image.
you would experience life differently.
Yeah, it's a way different experience. Yeah.
Alright.
Be good, holla holla.